If you've ever tried to delegate something off of your plate and then it ends up back on your to-do list, this episode is for you. We're going to be talking all about delegation and how to make sure that you're getting things off your plate for good and they're being done properly. One of the biggest frustrations we hear is it's easier if I do it myself, but it does not have to be that way. In a few episodes previously, we talked about this idea of tracking your time, understanding where your time is going. Then we talked about how to identify which responsibilities, which activities you need to transfer. Once you have done those two things, I want you to dive deeper into the things that we need to transfer, okay? This whole episode is going to be talking about transferring things off of your plate. These are things that still need to be done by the business, but they don't necessarily need to be done by you, okay? First, understanding that the psyche of a team member is very different than the psyche of an entrepreneur. You are much more risk tolerant by nature. It's the way your brain is built. You took a risk, you started a business, you show up every day taking risks by working for yourself, by employing people, by putting new products and services out there, by whatever it is that you do. You are inherently a little bit more risk tolerant, even if you don't feel like you're the person that's about to jump out of a plane, not me. But I do know that people in my life are much more risk averse than I am. And so we want you to think about your team members, understanding that when they are given tasks, given responsibilities, and they don't have all of the tools to make good decisions or to move things forward because they're not quite sure, it feels scary to them because they don't want to make the wrong decision. They don't want to make a bad choice because if they make a bad choice, that feels risky. And what is at stake for them is their paycheck, their job, the food that they put on their family's table. And that's a little bit more uncomfortable for them than it is for you, probably. 3 things that most team members are missing when we delegate things to them. Okay, so I want you to write these 3 things down because anytime you delegate something off of your plate, I need you to walk through these 3 things and make sure that you're handing them over properly so that the thing that you're delegating doesn't end up back on your plate or they don't end up asking you a million questions and you throwing your hands in the air and going, you know what? It's easier when I did it all myself. Okay, that's not how we want to end up. I want you to use these 3 bullet points as a checklist for when you delegate anything to someone else. Number 1, information. Do they have the information? Do they have enough information to make good decisions? Most of the time, we delegate something and we do a poor job of handing over everything that they need to make good decisions within that area of responsibility, within that project, role, etc. Sometimes the information lives in your head. Sometimes it's knowledge or experience that you've had for decades. Sometimes it's living in a Google Doc that they don't have access to. Sometimes it's in a database that they don't know which one to use. You name it, the information lives somewhere that they may not have access to. If it lives in your head, we have to transfer those things over. So I want you to slow down and think about why you do certain things or what information that they're going to need to make good decisions within this new area of responsibility. The second reason they may not be making decisions or that things end up coming back to your plate is because they don't have permission to make decisions or to move things forward. Whether that's because you've never formally given them that permission or because at some point that maybe they made a decision and then you changed it or took it back. Well, guess what? You took back the permission that maybe at some point you gave them. So now they think, oh, she doesn't trust me or he doesn't trust me to make that decision, or Adrian must still want to make that decision. I'm going to keep going back to her. Have you given them permission to make the decisions or to move the project forward that you would have off your plate? And if not, that's a good and easy place to start. Sometimes it's giving someone permission and going, I trust you to make all the decisions within this area of responsibility, or here's the decisions that I want you to own, and here's the 2 that I still need to get because I'm still trying to figure out how to transfer that information to you. But everything else, I want you to be able to do it on your own. You got this. I trust you. Give them formal permission if you haven't already. The third and final reason that a lot of times people are not making decisions or not moving things forward, or maybe they're even making the wrong decisions, Hint, if people are making wrong decisions, it's typically because they don't have enough information to make the decision, which again is our responsibility, okay? Own that. If someone made a wrong decision, okay, where did the information lack? The third piece, if they're not making good decisions, or if they're not making decisions, or if things keep ending up back on your plate, or they keep coming and asking you questions, is outcome. Do they know the outcome? Do they understand what it would mean to be successful in this role, in this area of responsibility? Because most people can get pretty far if they just know the outcome, right? They can make good decisions if they have an understanding of where we're going. Oh, okay, we're going here. Well, then I would make this decision to help us get there. But in reality, we're not being clear with our team members. And most of the time, when I ask clients this question of, okay, what is the outcome? They don't even know. So if you don't even know the outcome, how are they supposed to know the outcome and use the outcome to move things forward without you? Things vision, that's a huge opportunity for you to give big outcome to your team so that they can move you towards it with decision making. Values, guiding principles, and then individual role responsibilities and metrics and outcomes that they understand. Oh, this is where I'm meant to be going. And so as long as I make decisions that are in alignment with that, then I can move this thing forward confidently. Before you hand over anything to a team member, before you start delegating and flexing that delegation muscle, because delegation is a muscle, you have to start growing it. Start small, start low stakes, start with things that are further away from the money, that they can't destroy the business or erode all of your trust in them. Start building that muscle, but make sure when you delegate anything, you're using this checklist. Information. What information are they going to need to make a good decision within this area of responsibility? Number 2, permission. What types of permission do they need in order to make good decisions and be able to move things forward? And 3, what is the outcome that they are moving towards? And do they have a strong understanding of how to know when they are successful? Do those 3 things, and I guarantee you will have so much more success delegating anything off your plate, and you'll be able to stretch and work that delegation muscle until you can delegate large things off your plate without feeling nervous about it. I would love to hear how this is going for you. Let me know in the comments what you're going to delegate off of your plate. Let's start today. Start small, start with something low stakes, start with something simple that you can easily capture the information for, and get it off your plate today so that they can start being fully autonomous and being able to move things forward without you. Bye.